Welcome to our final edition of 3 in the Key here on the Sports Fan Base Network. I'm Ari Bluestein, the CEO of SFBN, filling in for Richie Bleiweiss, and we are going to recap all 6 boys basketball championships that happened at Hershey earlier this week. Stay tuned for 3 in the Key. Welcome back to 3 in the Key. I'm CEO of SFBN, Ari Bluestein. Thank you for joining us here on SFBN, our final episode recapping boys basketball for the year here in 2017-2018. And I'm joined by my analysts, Josh Abrams and Jack Kapp. And I know Richie's not in today, but I am excited to discuss the boys basketball championship. So you guys ready to go?
Without question, best week of the year for me.
Yeah, I mean, I know you were at Hershey, and we're going to move up. We're going to go from 1A to 6A here. We're going to start with 1A here. Kennedy Catholic, your 1A boys basketball champions. You see the bracket on your screen right now. They defeat Lord's Regional 78-36, and Josh, I'll come to you on this one. This was not even close. Kennedy Catholic was winning this game 30-0 at the end of the first quarter.
Yeah, I mean, this was honestly very anticipated. I think we had talked about coming into the brackets how Kennedy Catholic, along with Imhotep, I believe, were basically the 2 teams that were going to steamroll their way through the bracket. Now, Imhotep is a whole different story. We'll get into that later. But Kennedy Catholic essentially just had no competition for this bracket, and Maceo Austin led the way with 29 points. He may or may not be heading to West Virginia. That could be a potential move there. I believe Bob Huggins was at the game yesterday, and I know Kanate, the big shot blocker for West Virginia, hails from Kennedy Catholic. So a lot of tradition there, a lot of legacy for Austin, and a lot of motivation for him to come back.
Yeah, this wasn't really a surprise here, Jack Kapp. I think when we looked at this bracket, we all felt that Kennedy Catholic was going to win this bracket. We thought maybe they'd get some competition from the top half, but Lord's Regional, the District 4 champ, knocked off Sankofa, which is a team that we talked about a lot, and they knocked off Faith Christian out of District 1. So, Lord's Regional with some upsets coming into this championship game, but, Kennedy Catholic just handling their business, no surprise here.
No surprise. Was it 30-0 at the end of the first quarter?
Yes, it was.
I mean, that's...
And I believe they took their starters out, in the second quarter, I believe.
And the guy you mentioned, that's the big guy? Is that the 6'10 guy?
Kanate is
Kanate is on West Virginia. The guy.
Yeah, Maceo Austin. Yeah.
Austin is
He's a 6'10 guy. Yeah, I've heard a lot about him. Yeah, so... but Kennedy Catholic has won their 9th PIAA championship, which now sets the record. And we talked about them from the beginning of the year, and they're clearly the best team. Now, there's a lot of chatter. I follow a lot of forums on the internet in regard to PIAA classifications. And all the schools will be reclassified coming up.
Correct.
For a 2-year period.
Yeah.
Kennedy Catholic, from what I heard, wanted to go to 6A.
Yes.
And
Is
that the story you heard?
I thought that they were going to be going to 6A. That's what I heard, that they were going to be moving up.
I think they volunteered a year ago, and it was denied because it was in the middle of the classification.
Right.
Yes.
Well, I have an article from PennLive.com that says when Kennedy Catholic moves up to 6A.
Yeah, I think that's fairly definite that they're going to move up to 6A, which will make it interesting because they are going to be with some of the biggest schools. Yeah. They are a smaller school, but you see that a lot when you have good teams. You even see it in Philadelphia with Imhotep. They move up in classification. Yeah. They could probably be down a classification in basketball and football, but they choose to move up because they want to play up.
Have we ever seen a 1A jump to a 6A or a jump?
That is
before they had 6A, 1A jump to a 4A.
That's a big jump. You usually see the jump in classification from like a 2A to a 3A or 3A to 4A. Back when there was only 4 classifications, a lot of times you saw 2A to 3A and 3A to quad A. But
Steel High used to do that.
Something that also needs to be considered, and I think just looking at the bracket, Kennedy Catholic scored more than 70 points in all of their games, and the most amount of points they gave up in a game was 53, and that was to Shanksville. So the fact that Kennedy Catholic won by more than, a lot of double digits in every game, and the fact that they, did get up to a 30-0 lead, not not too difficult for them to get to this point. Very easy run. It does make sense that they want to move up. It does make a lot of sense. 1 to 6A, a big jump.
Yeah.
But that's something that you would have to wait for next year.
And I think it's going to be good for everybody because it's going to be good for Kennedy Catholic. They're going to play some better competition at the state level. And it opens things up for these smaller schools, too, who stood no chance at Kennedy Catholic just because of their talent.
Right.
But it opens things up, and this is the reason why the PIAA expanded to 6 classifications to give these smaller schools a chance at a state championship. Kennedy Catholic has dominated that level, so I'm glad that they're moving up. It's going to be better for everybody all around. But, congrats to Kennedy Catholic on another state championship.
They may not be the only ones that are going to move up.
Yeah, we will see.
There's a lot of talk, like I'm saying, a lot of chatter and Twitter and whatever you call that stuff.
Yeah.
People are talking back and forth, tweeting, and I'm hearing a lot of people want all these other schools like Imhotep to go to 6A, for example, or Bonner Prem to even jump a class from 5A to 6A.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, and we'll talk about that certainly next year. But we want to look at how our predictions have gone thus far here in 1A, and we're going to bring that up on your screen. This is, of course, our final tally. There you are. So in 1A, I had 15 correct. Jack Kapp with 19, and Josh Abrams with 20. Abrams with the victory there in 1A. Now, at the end of the night here on the 3 in the Key, we're going to tally up everything, and we'll tell you who ended up getting the most games correctly. But I think that, it's interesting to see. We all had Kennedy Catholic, I believe, winning that. So at least we were right in that regard. But, a lot of different things happened along the way. I think a lot of us probably had Sankofa.
Playing Kennedy Catholic.
I think we had them moving up. All right.
They played them earlier in the season, way back.
And they had no shot. But again, that's Kennedy Catholic moving on up, so that's a good thing. All right, so moving on to 2A here. Our 2A boys basketball champion is Constitution out of Philadelphia, out of District 12, and you see the bracket on your screen right now. And they get the 10-point victory over Our Lady of Sacred Heart, and this was a good game. OLSH won in overtime over Sewickley in a District 7 battle in the semis. I actually had Sewickley winning the whole thing, beating, I believe, Constitution. So that was a great game between Our Lady of Sacred Heart and Sewickley. And then a great battle. I love it when a Philly team or like a Southeastern PA team plays a Western PA team that they wouldn't normally see for the title. I think that's really a true state championship.
That's what it should be.
And that's what we got in Constitution, and Rob Moore, the head coach, again, doing it again, getting another state title, the general, state champs again.
And I've been reading a lot of stuff that Rob Moore has been saying on the internet. He is quite loquacious. You like that word?
Yes.
That means he has a lot to say. And he's, I believe, accurate in what he's saying, because a lot of people have been saying Constitution recruits, and a lot of these schools recruit, and it's unfair. Constitution is actually not a charter school.
Right.
It is not a charter school. People think it is, but it's not. It's kind of a magnet school.
It's a magnet school, yes.
So anyway, but he's a great coach. I used to referee him years ago when he first got started. He is one tough blankety blank. He is a tough guy, but he knows his basketball, and he's a very good coach, and I give him all the credit, and it's a great victory for Constitution.
Yeah, and Josh, the interesting thing is when we look at this bracket, everybody thought, okay, it's going to be another Constitution versus MCNS semifinal. But Holy Cross coming up with the upset there, and actually gave Constitution a little bit of a game in the semifinals at Bethlehem at Freedom High School. But Constitution still ends up winning. But a couple little upsets here, and shout out to Holy Cross out of District 2. Who, played Constitution tough. Yeah,
Constitution obviously, it's another example of tradition for them to get back to where they always wanted to be. They never seem to fail on the big stage, and that's why they seem to always do well in the state tournament. I've been saying it on every show. I think it's really a testament to how tough these Philly school teams are, because their strength of schedule, and I'll get into more of that when we talk about Imhotep, because I rave about them a lot, but these teams just have more quality wins under their belt. And I know when these smaller schools, you can't do too much geographically. These teams out west aren't playing as many great teams as where we are.
Yeah, you do have to give a shout out there to District 7 in this classification, especially because Sewickley and Jeanette had a real good game. Jeanette was a state champion in football, and then of course the overtime game between Sewickley and Our Lady of Sacred Heart, and then OLSH gave Constitution a good run. So this, I thought, was going to be a very interesting bracket. Like I said, I had Sewickley beating Constitution for the championship. I would have loved to see that game, but OLSH hung in there as well. So congratulations to the Constitution Generals, and we're going to take a look at how everybody did at the 2A classification right now, and that is up on your screen. Josh and Kapp, you each had 20 correct.
That's a lot.
But I ruled 2A. Despite not getting the champion correct, I had 22 correct in 2A. But I will give it to you guys. Did you have Constitution winning the whole thing, Kapp?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and what about you,
I
Abrams?
think I had Constitution as well.
So I will say that I had the most correct, but I'll give you guys the credit there. You had the correct champion in that bracket. So that's 2A Constitution winning it. Not a huge surprise. We thought they were a favorite all year long. We're going to take a quick time out, but we have plenty more basketball to go over, including as we go on, we're going to get to the bigger classifications. A lot of great games coming up. Stay tuned here on 3 in the Key.
Hi, I'm Tommy Green, former pitcher for the Philadelphia Phillies. When I was in high school, it was very important to me to show scouts what I could do. My friends at Payroll Service Solutions are huge supporters of high school sports and the Sports Fan Base Network. If you're a small to medium-sized business in need of a payroll company, contact Payroll Service Solutions. Not only will they take care of you, they will continue to support the community. For more information, contact Payroll Service Solutions at 215-624-0922 or 866-PAY-EASY.
We're talking goaltending here, and we're talking about high school rules as opposed to NCAA or NBA, which are slightly different. The referee is looking for 4 criteria. Number 1, is the ball on its way down? Number 2, is the ball fully above the rim? Number 3, was it an attempted shot? And number 4, did that shot have a chance to go in the opinion of the referee? If all 4 of those criteria are met, a goaltending call is made and the basket is good. Slapping the backboard is never goaltending. It's always a technical foul.
Welcome back to 3 in the Key. I'm Ari Bluestein filling in for Richie Bleiweiss on our final episode as we recap the state championship games that happened in Hershey the last 3 days. And I'm joined by Josh Abrams and Jack Kapp. And we're going through each classification, looking at how we did. And we just did 1A and 2A, and we're going to go over to 3A now. No shock here, and I'm pretty sure you guys had this as your champion as well. The Newman Goretti Saints, another state championship, as you see the bracket up on your screen right now, and they win at 57-42 over Richland. Might not have even been that close. I think the Saints really led from start to finish.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is Carl Aragale's, how many championships is this? 8 now. 8
fourth in a row, 8 and 9. Fifth in a row, 8 and 9.
Yeah.
Sets the record. It actually breaks the record of Carlisle, which was back in the 80s, and I just happened to see that final game of Billy Owens' career where he scored 52 points. What a game. They had won 4 in a row, broken now by the Newman Goretti Saints with 5 in a row, and they're unstoppable, especially in PIAA championship games.
Yeah, and this is another one where you look at Newman Goretti, and that this is a team that's been here, and I saw a lot on social media about people saying like, "Oh, Newman Goretti, they win it again," and might be another one of those teams that they want to move up because they dominate at this classification level. So I mean, maybe it's time for Newman Goretti to move up a little bit.
Yeah, it's really, you got to ask yourself when you see a team like Newman Goretti who's so talented, but it's all about their male enrollment. We've talked about that a little bit on the show. How many males do you have in your school, and that's how they decide it.
Yeah.
Is that system starting to be broken now? We're not sure yet. I think that's really something for the PIAA to figure out. But what I will say is that this Newman Goretti team didn't necessarily win this game in the usual way that they would in the past couple of years. They only scored 57 points.
Yeah.
That seems pretty uncharacteristic of a team that good. But they were led by 23 points from Daimir Montag. He essentially was a huge portion of their offense. And, just a game where the score was a little bit closer than indicated.
Yeah, and I think you look at this Newman Goretti team, and they don't have the superstar. They don't have Quade Green.
Right.
They don't have Jaquan Newton. They had a lot of real good players. Chris Ings too is another very good player, and
he'll be back
Marcus
next year,
Littles.
too.
Marcus Littles too, the big guy in the middle. And they always get really good players into that school. But not quite the star dominant Newman Goretti team that we're used to, and that's why they didn't succeed as much, especially in the Philadelphia Catholic League playoffs.
They had some trouble. I mean, they had some trouble. They lost their first game at home in a long time.
Yeah, St. Joe's Prep. Yep.
Many games. They won it consecutively. I forget the exact number, but they were beaten by the Prep, and then they did not get through the quarterfinals of the PCL.
Yeah, and
but they win the state championship.
And again, another testament to playing in such a tough tournament like the PCL tournament, whether if you're playing for regular league title or for the I guess what we would call the conference tournament or whatever. It just really builds them up for the state tournament. I don't think there's any other teams in the Catholic League that are 3A that at least made the tournament this year.
You had actually Bishop McDevitt out of Cheltenham, out of Wincote, which is in the Philadelphia Catholic League. That was actually a good game. Newman Goretti won 65-54.
It was a surprisingly close game.
Yes.
I thought it would be a blowout.
Yeah, no, Bishop McDevitt actually played pretty well most of the season. But Newman Goretti winning this one over Richland. They had a tough take with Trinity in the semifinals.
Yeah, the 6'10" guy. Trinity had Sean Good.
Yep, they're the champion out of District 3. That's pretty good squad there.
Yep.
And then they had the tough game against Bishop McDevitt. So, the road was not easy for Newman Goretti this year, but they do get another state championship. Congratulations to Carl Aragale and that bunch. Before we get to 4A, wanted to remind everybody, and we didn't say this at the top of the show, but we have our final Jack Kapp trivia question of the year. So, the trivia question is, which team had the most points scored in a PIAA championship game? So this is the single most points in a championship game scored by an entire team. So make sure you send in your comments here on Facebook, and also feel free to send in some comments as well, and we'll punch them up and we'll address them. Any questions that you have, this is our final show, so feel free to put in to contribute to today's show on 3 in the Key.
Should we give a hint on that or not?
This is your trivia question, Cap. So if you want to give a hint, I don't know the answer. So
all right. The hint is that their mascot name, their team name, is Celestial. I think I'm using the right word. So.
Well, if that helps anybody, hopefully you guys can come up with the answer. But the final Jack Kapp trivia question of the year. Okay, let's get into 4A here. Another non-surprise, our third District 12 team in a row here. We had Constitution in 2A, Newman Goretti in 3A, now Imhotep Charter in 4A. They dominate Sharon out of District 10, 71-35. The bracket is up on your screen right now. And Sharon surprised us a little bit. I feel like 4A kind of went the way that we thought it would go. But Sharon beating Quaker Valley, and we thought that it was going to be Imhotep Quaker Valley the entire year, and Sharon had a little bit of an upset and then just got blown out by Imhotep. So the Panthers, again with another state championship.
I watched that game on television. I couldn't get there on Monday night. I wanted to go, but it was just such a blowout. I mean, Imhotep is just so much better. It was really like men against boys, and it was kind of like watching a college team versus a CYO team. I hate to say it, because I'm sure the Sharon folks are not going to be happy to hear about that. But there's and to quote one of the guys, I think his name is Gary, on the broadcast, he said there's Quick and then there's Philly Quick. I think those were his exact words. I forget his last name.
Philly Tough.
Martin or Gary. I can't remember his last name. He's a great broadcaster. He does the color commentary on the PCN broadcast, and that's what he said, and it's so true. When he said that, I said, "Boy, you just rang the bell, buddy." That's
I mean, look, Imhotep is a top 10 team in the country, and they showed why.
Yeah, and they established themselves with their strength of schedule. They did what all nationally good teams do, and they went out of state. They went out of the East Coast, played teams from all across the country, and just like most of these District 12 teams, it set them up for the tournament. Now, obviously, that's not the only factor. Imhotep's defense, their athleticism, their size, and their quickness was a huge contributor to Sharon shooting 8 for 39 from the field.
8 field goals in an entire championship game.
Wow. And And they also forced 18 first-half turnovers, too.
Right.
So obviously, you have to set the tone early, and Imhotep never failed at doing so in each game.
Josh. I mean, I watched that game again, and I mean, within the first minute, Sharon knew they were in for trouble, and they really never recovered.
And I give Sharon credit.
Yeah.
I think you and I did you have Quaker Valley go into the championship? Did we?
Yeah.
I think we
all.
Valley against Imhotep.
Mm-hmm.
I might have had Newcastle, but I had I had a District 7 team. I did not see
Newcastle had beaten Quaker Valley.
Yeah,
right? That's their only loss.
I think I had Sharon losing to Newcastle.
Yeah.
I mean, look, Sharon got blown out in this game, but they beat Newcastle. Yeah. And they beat Quaker Valley. That is two. I mean, shout out to Sharon High School, because those are two big wins over solid District 7 teams, and I would have given Sharon no chance to win those
bottom
games.
line of this game is just too much TEP.
Yeah.
That's what I wrote on my notes. Too much TEP.
And,
you just can't control them.
Sharon's coach, Zach Sarver, said it best. He said it's nothing that we didn't do. It's everything that Imhotep did. Yeah. There was just nothing. There's literally nothing they could do.
Yeah, right. And I mean, and Sharon ends up with a record of 27-3. That is not too shabby. No. Champions out of District 10, and this bracket kind of went how I thought it was going to go, with the exception of Sharon getting to the championship game. And we're going to look at the predictions right now. We actually skipped 3A, so we're going to show you 3A right now for what we did, and that's up right now. Jack Kapp, you had 14.
I didn't do
so
well.
your District 3 kind of got turned upside down there. I had 17, and Josh Abrams with 19 for 3A. Now we go to 4A. We all did pretty well in 4A.
Okay.
Josh and Kapp with 20. I had 24.
Wow.
24. I believe out of 32 possible games.
That's pretty good.
31 possible games. So that's not bad. And if Newcastle beats Sharon, I might have a perfect bracket.
That's right.
Oh, near perfect. But yeah, I mean, again, 4A was kind of how we thought it was going to play out.
Absolutely.
Imhotep wins it. They beat Bethlehem Catholic easily. Actually, that was a good game.
No, yeah.
That's right. They beat them by 5. So that was a good game. That was a
what do they call them? Becca
High. Yeah, Bethlehem Catholic High School. Yeah, the Golden Hawks.
That's great.
Hey, they played Imhotep really tough. Really tough in that game.
Imhotep the best of everybody, and I was at the game, was Middletown.
Middletown
got within 5 points.
Played him tough
in the third quarter, and Imhotep was turning the ball over.
And I had Middletown in that game. Middletown needed a game last-second buzzer beater, beat Overbrook in the second round, by the way. So this is a fun bracket, and it's kind of how we thought it was going to go. So we're going to take a quick timeout, but don't go anywhere. We've got the two biggest brackets coming up next with 5A and 6A on our final episode of 3 in the Key.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have spent 3 days with the most insane program, I have witnessed in my 17-year career. It excites me, the presence of point blank period, of Coach Dooley, of Coach Fowler, of the people that he works out with, that he trains with, It's exciting. And you have had the luxury of spending 3 awesome days with these people. I watched Coach Fowler play. Mr. Coach, you watch Coach Fowler play? He is one of the most annoying basketball players you will ever see in your life. Because exactly what he trains, exactly what he preaches to you, he does at all times. This is real habit. This is not a gimmick. This is real basketball. Real basketball, something that he has found success with. He has spread the word.
Welcome back to 3 in the Key. I'm Ari Bluestein, the CEO of SFBN, filling in for Richie Bleiweiss on our final episode of 3 in the Key. And I'm joined by our analysts, Josh Abrams and Jack Kapp, as we break down our final episode here and the boys basketball championships from Hershey this past week. And of course, everything got thrown off because of the weather, but we were still able to get some people up there, and no, Jack Kapp, you were up there.
Yeah.
And in the 5A championship, we had some videographers up there. Our reporter, Rosie Langella, was on the scene. Yeah. So we're going to get to some of those video highlights shortly. But Abington Heights, The champion out of District 2 wins this one over Mars, District 7, and this one was a little bit surprising.
Yeah.
I think we all thought Bonner Prendergast out of District 12,
We
the
thought so.
PCL runner-up,
Yep.
would win the whole thing, but Abington Heights beats Bonner Prendy in overtime in the semis, and then Mars with a thriller over Milton Hershey,
Yes.
62-61 in the semis, and then Abington Heights wins 67-55. And I actually was on the call for the semifinal game between Abington Heights and Bonner Prendy. Let me tell you, these kids know how to play basketball. They did a great job against. They were the less talented team. Bonner Prendy was more talented, but Abington Heights, they won the game, and they played a really nice game of basketball.
Was that the game that had the controversy at the end with the Hershey's Kisses?
So we'll talk about that real quick.
Can you explain what happened?
So this is what happened.
Because I saw it, but I didn't see the Hershey Kisses.
Abington Heights was up by 3.
Three. Yes, they were up 3.
Okay, they were up 3 with like seconds left.
3.6 seconds, I think
Yep,
it
3
was.
seconds left. Bonner Prendy missed a shot. They got a rebound in the corner, threw up a desperation shot. A foul was called with less than a second remaining.
It was a two-shot foul.
Okay, so that's a 2-shot foul.
That's right.
And then the buzzer went off, and the students of Abington Heights thought the game was over. They started throwing Hershey Kisses on the court. So you had 2 fouls and a technical foul
That's right.
on the Abington Heights bench.
Imagine.
Gave Mike Peretta 4 free throws. So if he hit all 4,
That's right.
the game was over. The game was
Imagine
over.
a game ending like that.
He made the first 3 and missed the last one. It ran around the rim and came out. And I guess what? Abington Heights deserved to win that game. It would have been a shame if they lost that game as a result
The
of the
shot that
technical
Peretta
foul.
took was kind of like behind his back.
And you know what? I don't really even agree with the foul call on that play.
I saw the film.
Yeah.
You could call a foul on that, but to call a technical at
But
the
do you
end
need
of a semifinal game.
But do you need to call technical? I feel like you have to.
Oh, I guess, but
You have to.
I could look. They're being observed. The officials are being observed. They've got to call it by the book. If they want to move to the final game, their chances would be limited if they don't play it by the book. So I guess they were required in this particular case. But can you imagine if he hits that 4th foul shot?
Yeah.
All the the rancor that would have come.
And
from
Abington Heights wouldn't even have had a shot at
And then
Hershey.
they got one more shot, by the way. Didn't they get one more shot, Bonner Prendy?
They had
I think
4.
with 1 second left. No, I'm talking about it. Then they got the ball.
Oh, they got the ball back, yeah, but they
and
couldn't.
Wong put up another desperation.
Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah.
close though.
No,
But-
it wasn't close. They went into
Yeah.
overtime, and Abington
Yeah.
Heights clearly pulled away.
Yep.
So fair is fair, but isn't Peretta the grandson or the son of the women's coach at Villanova? He's grandson. It's his grandson.
Okay.
Yeah, it's his grandson.
You would know that more
Yeah,
than me.
little trivia.
So we'll go with that. So anyway, Abington
Yeah.
Heights, District 2 champs.
Yep.
They win their first ever state title. They win it over Mars High School, who had a thriller over Milton Hershey. And Josh, you look at this Abington Heights team, they don't have any real studs on their team. They've got a couple of guys who are getting some D1 looks, but this team just plays great team basketball.
Yeah, it kind of reminds you of. I haven't seen either of these teams play, but they kind of remind me of a Penn Ridge type of team where they or even CB West even where they like to move the ball and they're not the team that's going to pass up a wide open shot, but they will move the ball around until they find the best shot possible. And even though they might not be more talented than the teams that they face in this state tournament, they still get major contributions. George Tinsley
Tinsley's great.
Eclipsed the 1,000-point mark, finished with almost 30 at 29. And it's not, but it's
also.
Yeah, Danzig.
Yeah.
It's not one of those teams where you have to worry about one guy. You have to worry about all.
You know what surprised me? I did see the final game. They were surprisingly physical. In fact, both teams, Mars and Abington Heights. By the way, it's an first interstellar battle ever in the PIAA.
Right, the comets versus the planets.
First
the
time ever.
fighting planets.
The fighting planets.
The fighting planets. Yeah.
I think they actually put an apostrophe. The fighting planets.
Fighting. That's what I said.
So each one's a planet, and then you have the comets. That's right. You did. And so anyway, so the interstellar battle, but they were really tough. Danzig was very physical and very athletically talented, as was Tinsley. Tinsley was great.
Tinsley is a player. Now,
He is
Tinsley in the
good.
semifinal game, He had he was in foul trouble basically the whole game, and they still were able to win that game. We're going to take a look at the highlights. This was provided to us by Rosie Langello, our reporter, who has actually been up in District 2, and then she made the drive to Hershey to cover her squad here, the Abington Heights Comets, and we're going to get to that in just a moment. But Abington Heights, again, just a great effort, and this bracket overall, a lot of thrilling games. You had some overtime games, some double overtime games, and I know, Jack Kapp, you had Archbishop Carroll going all the way. I had Bonner Prendy going all the way. I believe you had Bonner Prendy as well, Josh Abrams. Now I had Abington Heights. They were in a tough spot because they were going to play the winner of Chester and Martin Luther King. And they beat Chester by 1. I mean, that's a tough game. And then they have to play Bonner just to get to the championship. So, credit to Abington Heights. They deserve every bit of this championship.
I think so far they had the toughest outing out of all the champions we've talked about.
We also want to mention the kid from Mars. Carmody, is that how you said it?
Yeah.
Carmody.
Robbie Carmody, yeah.
Robbie Carmody, he's the third
34 points, I think, he scored in this game.
And let me tell you, he was taking over the game at that point, and he fouled out on a I think we were talking about earlier.
Ticky-tack.
A little touch foul, like he reached and just touched, and it really didn't seem to create a advantage-disadvantage situation. He fouled out on that, and as after he just started dominating the game. He's a physical kid.
Right.
And I forget where he's going. He's got a D1 scholarship somewhere.
I'll have to look.
We can look
at
that.
Yeah. Well, this was a very fun bracket. It went kind of how we thought, but Abington Heights kind of surprised everybody by the way they advanced, beating Chester by 1. The thriller in overtime over Bonner Prendy, and then the win over Mars, and they beat some good teams. Milton Hershey had quite a run as well, knocking off Archbishop Carroll. We're going to take a look at the predictions right now of how we did in this bracket. We're going to bring that up for you right now. And I ended up with 17 because I had Milton Hershey getting upset by Ruston in the first round. So that kind of blew up my bottom half of the bracket. Yeah. So I had 17. Josh Abrams with 18. Jack Kapp, even though your champion Carroll went down in the quarters, you had 22. So nicely done. None of us had Abington Heights winning the whole thing. So Kapp wins 5A.
And
So
Carmody is signed to Notre Dame. So you'll be playing in the ACC next year.
There you go. Not too bad. Okay. So now let's go ahead to 6A. 6A.
Guys.
We're gonna look at the highlights right now. I believe. We're gonna send it to the highlights. Let's check them out right now.
Yes.
Well, the wait is finally over. We're in the sweetest place on earth where the District 2 champions, the Abington Heights Comets, face off against the District 7 champions, Mars High School, the Fightin' Planets. Good evening, everyone. I'm Rosie Langello. Now, these two teams haven't played in 8 days, but despite the delay, it's still a pretty even matchup. The Fightin' Planets with a 25-4 record, and the Comets with a record of 26-3.
Starting in the first quarter, the Comets, Corey Perkins, making it known they want that first state title. He hits the 3. The Fightin' Planets, Brandon Caruso now with the ball, but he'll turn it over to Perkins, who dribbles down the court, fakes out the Mars defender, then he'll hand it over to George Tinsley, who gets the deuce. While staying in the first, Caruso wants to make up for that turnover. He gets a pass from teammate Andrew Riccia and sinks the 3. At the end of the first, it's 17-15. Abington Heights leads by 2. Now to the second quarter, the Fightin' Planets with the ball. Caruso finds Riccia. He throws off the defender with a jab step and pulls up for a 3. Then Michael Carmody finds Caruso. He crosses over, dribbles, steps back, and sinks it for 2. At the end of the first half, it's 25-24. Mars leads by 1. Start of the third quarter, Tinsley tries to put it up for the Comets, but it's touched back out to Perkins, who finds Jack Nealon for a wide-open shot. He hits the tray. Mars trying to gain back some momentum here. Cade Hetzler finds the Notre Dame commit, Robbie Carmody. He tries for a 3, but it's just short. Jackson Danzig for the Comets, though. He gets the rebound and heads down the court to find Nealon again, who gets another wide-open shot and hits back-to-back 3s for the Comets. Then Caruso finds Michael Carmody, who bounce passes it to his older brother Robbie, who gets the and 1 for the Fightin' Planets. Nealon then connects with Tinsley with a bounce pass under the hoop, and it's an easy 1-2 right there. But Carmody is saying, nope, my turn. Drives to the hoop for a deuce. Now in the fourth quarter, Carmody with a spin into the basket, he draws a foul. Then Nealon finds Tinsley again. Tinsley with a nice hook shot right there for the basket. With 3:53 to go in the fourth, Abington leads 53-48. With a minute 26 to go, their best player, Robbie Carmody, fouls out in the last 30 seconds of the game. You can see Abington Heights coach Ken Bianchi can smell their first state title. It's just seconds away. The Comets end up winning it 67-55. Jack Nealon walks away with 13 points, both Corey Perkins and Jackson Danzig with 11. And George Tinsley, listen to this, 29 points this game, and he scored his 1,000th career point during the state title game in the fourth quarter.
Thank you so much to Rosie Langello for putting that package together, and congratulations again to the Abington Heights Comets on winning the 5A state title. We're actually going to take a quick break here on 3 in the Key. When we come back, we will do our final bracket, and then we'll tally up all our predictions, and then we'll also give you the answer to Jack Cap's trivia question. That's all next on 3 in the Key.
Let's talk live ball contact versus dead ball contact. We're trying to determine whether we have a common foul, a technical foul, an intentional foul, or a flagrant foul which ejects the player. So, a live ball contact is never a technical. Live ball contact must be ruled either a common foul, a shooting foul, an intentional foul, or a flagrant foul. In high school rule, an intentional foul means that there was no attempt to play the ball. A deliberate foul was taken without a basketball move. That's an intentional foul. If that player was attempting to injure or hurt his opponent, it can be considered flagrant, and that player is then ejected. Now, let's take a dead ball situation. The whistle has blown on a violation or a foul or whatever the case may be, and a player comes over and shoves another player or hits another player. Now we have contact during a dead ball situation. That is always a technical foul. Can it be a flagrant technical? Yes. Again, if there was an attempt to injure that player, a technical foul can be ruled flagrant, and that player can be thrown out of the game and sent to the bench. In high school, a player goes to the bench when he's ejected, not to the locker room. And that's live ball, dead ball, contact fouls.
Welcome back to 3 in the Key. I'm Ari Bluestein, the CEO of SFBN, filling in for Richie Bleiweiss on our final episode here of 3 in the Key. We've gone all the way from 1A to 5A. We've got 6A coming up. One final reminder here for Jack Cap's final trivia question of the year. I believe we've already gotten some submissions, but you could still have a chance to put in your answer. Again, your trivia question. Which team scored the most points in a single PIAA championship game? So
Do we
again,
have any guesses? I'm sorry.
well, we have some guesses.
Yeah.
I think we're going to hold off to the end.
Okay.
We might have a correct answer from what I hear, but we're going to hold off on that. But feel free to submit a comment with your answer, and also submit a comment if you want us to mention anything as we wrap up what we're doing here on 3 in the Key. So we're going to go to 6A right now, and the winner of 6A, as you see the bracket on screen right now, is Roman Catholic as they defeat Lincoln 92-80 in a rematch of the Philadelphia City Championship, in which Lincoln won that game. So Roman getting some revenge, but both teams, Roman and Lincoln, needed overtime in their respective semifinal games. Lincoln needed overtime to beat Hazleton 76-74, and Roman needed overtime to beat Pine Richland 81-73. But the Cahillites getting their third state championship in 4 years, but the first for second-year head coach Matt Griffin.
That's right. 28-year-old second-year coach, Matt Griffin.
Yeah, I remember when he played at Rider University. I was there.
Yeah.
I was older than him.
Point guard. You have
Yeah.
5-6 years on it.
That's right. Yeah. So, and by the way, these pictures that you see on screen right now, these were taken by our own Jack Cap, who made it to this game. I know that you really wanted to see this game between two Philly squads.
Yes,
and talk about your observations here. I thought Lincoln played a phenomenal game, really a great showing for them. And Lincoln is a traditional Philadelphia public school.
And they won one state game over the last 12, 13 years, whatever it is.
Right, one state tournament game.
Yes. That is. This is only the second public league championship they ever won, and it's the first city championship they've ever won.
Right.
So the last time they won the pub was back in around 65.
Okay.
The great Larry Cannon and a few others. George May was on that team, but they have a 7-footer that did not play at all. We've been talking about him all year.
Right.
He did not get into this game at all, was not a factor, but Lincoln stayed with Roman. It was really close. A couple times Lincoln took the lead, but Roman kept coming back. That's a missed dunk, by the way, right there. It was a missed dunk because he hung on the rim. All he had to do was just drop it in, and he missed it.
Yeah.
That's Lucky. Asim Lucky, I believe is his name. I mean, great athleticism on both teams' parts and intense game all the way. Seth Lundy was great. There was a little rancor between the two teams, I guess, based on the fact that Roman thought they should have won the city championship, and they did not. And that's the athletic director and the principal of Lincoln High School.
Right.
And there's Lynn Greer III, of course, the son of Lynn Greer.
And with Lynn Greer Jr. watching on in the background. Did you even know you caught that?
Not.
He was looking in the gray hoodie.
I didn't notice
Yeah, he was right there. So, Josh, let me come to you on this Roman Catholic team. So much great talent. They win the Philadelphia Catholic League Championship over Bonner Prendy in the thriller. There's Matt Griffin, the 28-year-old second-year head coach on your screen. But so much talent, and they really came to play. A lot of the great Division I talent, they had great games here in the championship.
So much talent and so much youth, too. I mean, when we covered the PCL championship at the Palestra, I looked at the roster and saw maybe 3 or 4 seniors on the roster, and only one of them plays key, significant minutes, and that's John Kelly.
Yep.
Everyone else, Seth Lundy, Alan Betron, Lynn Greer, Hakeem Hart, even Louis Wild, who's a nice.
There's Louis Wild right there on cue.
A TJ McConnell-like point guard for this team. This Roman team. A couple of these kids are juniors, so next year.
That's Hakeem Hart right there. Had some big, really nice pockets. And there's Joe Setti, District 12 chair.
Chocolate.
Yeah, beautiful shot.
There's John Kelly right there.
This Roman team is going to be absolutely horrifying for teams in these next couple of years.
Yeah, and you know what? The PCL is so competitive, but I think I said it either on the show or I think when I was doing the broadcast of the PCL championship game on 12:10 a.m. WPHT, that I would not be shocked at all if it was Roman and Bonner Prendy again in the PCL championship, because Bonner loses to Jerry Johnson, but they get Isaiah Wong back, they get Tariq Ingram back. So, I mean, that should really make it interesting. But this 6A bracket, and we're going to get to the predictions in a moment, this 6A bracket did not go at all how I thought it was going to go. I really felt like it was going to be Abington PW in the championship, but Abington, they lose to Hazleton, which was a little bit of a shocker, but hey, they were a good team. They put up 94 on Abington, and then Hazleton ends up losing in overtime to Lincoln, who really made a nice run as well. But Plymouth Whitemarsh, they go down to Roman, and looking at that matchup, yes, I had PW winning that game, but I guess I'm not super shocked that Roman won that game, but a lot of surprises, I feel like, in the 6A bracket.
That's right. A couple, and beyond the bracket, I wanted to get to this game for a minute.
Go ahead.
Roman shot 33 of 53 for the game.
Wow.
And for those mathematicians, that's 62.5%. And for the game.
And when I was watching on TV, they took a lot of high percentage shots. Hakeem Hart had a lot of shots inside. They didn't take a ton of threes. They really drove to the basket. And I think that's something that they did in the city title game that they did not do, is they settled for a lot of threes in that city title. I think that's why they lost. So, credit to Matt Griffin. They said, let's attack, get high percentage shots inside.
Yeah. I remember when they first gave him the job, and a lot of people said he's too young. Well, I don't think those people are talking right now.
Yeah.
By the way, Hart hit his last 10 shots.
Yes.
Wow.
Which is like amazing.
Yeah.
And also, Roman shot 17 for 23 in the second half. And again, I did the math for everybody. So it's 73.9%.
Not too bad.
Sounds like that Villanova game in '85. It's amazing.
The thing is, though, Lincoln really kept pace. And I really thought they had a great showing. What a great run for the Rail Splitters. And like you said, it was unprecedented.
Yeah, and Khalif Mears, we have to say something.
Khalif Mears, right. His name was escaping me, but he had a great game.
Khalif Mears was just, he was like possessed. At the end of that game, he just said, I'm the best player out here and nobody's stopping me. And for a while there, nobody could stop him.
Yeah.
So he ended up with
28,
but he was just off the charts in his intensity, especially in the second half when he had 24 points. He really could not be stopped. Sunhill Day had 8. Tyree Corbett was held to 6. And Emuel Charleston had 14. But it was a big game for Mears. It was very impressive.
I think this bracket, obviously, it's probably the most busted bracket out of all of the brackets.
At least for us.
There were a lot of surprises. I think the biggest one for me, honestly, was Reading losing in the second round to CB West. I think if Reading had won They obviously would have played Roman Catholic. That's just one of those situations where you can't really analyze it too much because that's a what-if situation.
Right.
But Neshaminy getting to the Elite Eight for the first time ever, Central Bucks West making it to the Elite Eight for the first time ever. A lot of different things happened in this bracket this year that we have never seen before, and it's really remarkable to see these local teams get this far. You look at the quarterfinals: Abington, Lincoln, Neshaminy, CB West, Roman. That's 5 out of the 8 Elite Eight teams that are local that made it this far.
And if I could piggyback on that for a moment here, and
Sure.
this is thanks to the great Dave Berman, who is like incredible with his facts. 28 titles for the public league. 28 since 2004.
State titles.
State titles. 41 finals appearances.
It's amazing.
I'm sorry, the
District 12.
I'm sorry about
District
that. Yeah.
12.
So public and charter came in 05-04.
Okay.
Catholic came in 08-09. So District 12 dominance overall. In how many years that is?
And of course, that leads to the conversation about separating the charter and the Catholic
that's
schools.
a big conversation.
Big conversation.
Right now. Yeah.
It's something that's not being changed as of yet. I've actually talked to Bob Lombardi personally about this, and it has to do with the state legislature. So people are complaining and they want this to happen, and I'm not opposed to that because that's what Jersey does. Is they have a non-public and public group. I'm not opposed to that, but perhaps a change in the classification could certainly help that. But we're going to look at these predictions here. And again, like Josh, you just said, this was pretty busted for a lot of us. Here's the 6A predictions coming up on your screen right now. I had 13 correct. That is awful. That's like my NCAA tournament bracket. Jack Kapp with 16 and Josh Abrams with 17. So Abrams gets the win, but we all just got annihilated on that 6A.
So many good teams.
Yep.
Yeah.
So are we going to reveal our final picks now? Okay, here we go. We got the thumbs up from our director, Julian Bellman. Here we go. Drum roll. Final predictions. I got 108 out of 186. Not bad. Okay. I did better on some brackets than others. Jack Kapp with 111. And Josh Abrams with 114 is the big winner.
May youth be served.
There you go. Well, we were all right there. We were all within 3 picks of each other. And,
very good, Josh.
if I didn't pick the Ruston upset in the 6A, I changed a little bit. But, you never know how it goes. If I, didn't pick Houston to beat Michigan in the NCAA tournament, who knows what happens there? If I didn't pick Cincinnati to go all the way to the championship, that's
really that Roman Catholic PW game kind of messed with us because I think whoever won that game, I think was going to go win it all, and it ended up happening.
Yep. So, all right. Yeah. So that about wraps it up here for 3 in the Key, and wanted to leave it open to you guys for final thoughts before we finish things up and reveal our trivia question answer. So, Jack Kapp, you can go first here.
I had to mention something that I saw. Ace Carter, Ace Carter, the writer for the
Philadelphia Inquirer. Yep.
Right.
He's been on some of our shows. Ace does some videos during the game. I've never seen anybody work harder than Ace. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, he's texting, keeping score on that electronic thing, and taking videos all at the same time and tweeting. I don't even know what he does. It's amazing. But anyway, he did this video of the end of I guess it was the Hazleton-Lincoln game. Did you guys see this, what happened?
No.
Oh, so it's a really crucial point in the game. I think that it's a tie game, regulation, 16 seconds left, side throw-in, side court throw-in, and out of nowhere, a little 3-year-old runs onto the court.
Did you see that?
This?
Yes.
It's the funniest video.
It is a funny video.
We could describe it. Anyway, so the little kid runs onto the court, and I guess it was Asim Lucky, the big guy from Lincoln, ran after him, picked him up in the air, and delivered him back to his mother. At a very crucial point. I mean, the whistle had blown, the ball was thrown in, and about a second ticked off the clock, and it was funny. But anyway, I just thought I'd throw that in there.
All right, Josh Abrams, final thoughts here on this boys basketball season.
Well, I mean, obviously a lot of just great talent, great teams. I'm definitely happy and grateful to be able to just be able to really just, I guess start up my my love for high school sports again, and
there you go.
You know, it's like it's amazing to go. You know, going back to whether if it's my alma mater, Pennsbury, or just going to the Palestra to film these games. I think I probably had the most fun at the Palestra.
Can't beat that.
Yeah, being able to cover a game like that at a stage like that is just something that you can only ask for only so much, and
being part of the media, you can get down close.
Yeah.
Look, what you're saying is you got to talk about the game you love. I mean, look, and you're a much younger person. Obviously, I've been following high school basketball for
however longer than I've been alive. That's for sure.
I think it's close to 50 years.
There you go.
Much longer than I've been alive.
So that's why we have this.
I mean, but I love
great,
it. And to me, it's the same
I love it.
opportunity you have.
It's old school and new school. It's great. It's great.
And
well,
we both had a great time.
So this was a lot of fun, and I want to thank all of our viewers for watching here, 3 in the Key. Before we go, our trivia, our final Jack Cap trivia question answer. The question again was, which team scored the most points in a PIAA championship game ever? And we have a guess. This is from Kevin Wolf, and his guess is 99 points by Newman Goretti in 2016 versus the Fighting Planets of Mars. Jack Cap, is that correct?
Before I say that, I want to say something about Kevin Wolf, who's a great follower of high school basketball and also ended my career on the playground. You might not remember Kevin. You know, you're like 40 years younger than me.
Okay, so is he correct?
Anyway, he is correct.
There we go.
Wow.
Nicely
he knows
done.
his high school basketball, that Kevin Wolf.
Nicely done.
The answer is 99 points, 2016 versus the Mars Fighting Planets.
Right.
And it was actually Newman Goretti, not Newman, but we're giving Kevin the correct
sleight of hand.
Yeah, we'll give it to him. We will allow that answer. So good job, Kevin Wolf, and thank you for tuning in. And again, thank you to all of our viewers here. And of course, I would like to thank some of our crew who is not with us this evening because of the crazy weather and everything got rescheduled. Steve Silvestro, Dave Roberts, Sean Kelly, our great interns who have been behind the camera, behind the scenes all season long. So thank you to you guys. You've done a great job. Yeah. Also, our regular host, Richie Bleiweiss, who could not be here tonight again with the change in schedule, could not be here, so I'm happy to fill in, but Richie has done a phenomenal job all season long. So, a couple of reminders again. We are wrapping up our winter shows tonight, 3 in the Key. This is our final episode, obviously. Coming up shortly after this, we will have our final episode of In the Paint, our girls basketball show. I'll be hosting that, filling in for Nikki Jones. Again, the schedule just got changed around, so I do what we got to do here at SFBN. Also, check out our website, thesfbn.com. We had our intern Jason McLaughlin in Hershey all week, so make sure you check out for those articles and those recaps to be posted by our own Jason McLaughlin. Also, this show and all of our other shows will be podcasted on iTunes. Make sure you check that out and give us that 5-star rating so we can stick around. And also, we're going to have a couple of spring shows, so make sure you stay tuned on our website, thesfbn.com, for our spring schedule. So, for my analysts, Josh Abrams and Jack Cap, for our regular host, Richie Bleiweiss, and for our wonderful director, Julian Bellman, who has been with us all season long. He everything that you see on the screen, graphics, our highlights, everything like that, that is all Julian. So a shout out to you, my friend, who is right behind the camera as we speak. I'm Ari Bluestein, reminding you one more time to stay classy and be good to each other. Have a good night.